everybody, it's Strategywizard once again and Crazycraft.
Yay!
And we're going to be reviewing Incan Gold, a classic game by Bruno Feduti and Alan R. Moon. It's for 3 to 8 players, ages 8 and up, and they say 20 to 40 minutes. 40 minutes seems like a long time. I don't really see it lasting 40 minutes personally, but I guess it's possible depending on your analysis paralysis. But we've had this game for a long time. We've played it many, many times, and it's about time we reviewed it. So let's go ahead and go to the table, and we'll show you how to play.
Yay!
Okay, so here's the basic setup for Incan Gold. There's a whole bunch of wonderful little gems that you are trying to collect. You want to be the explorer who gets all the goodies. Now, of course, it's about having the most. So everyone could get a lot, and you could be very happy with how much you got, but if someone else got more, they win. So basically what it gets down to is you'll have 5 rounds, which these cards represent the 5 rounds. You'll flip one over, and when you do, and you'll notice it has this kind of artistic stairway, which is kind of thematic, because you're going into a temple to find the treasure. So you're digging down into this Incan temple and trying to find not only jewels, but you're also trying to find artifacts. So each time you flip one of these over for a round, you're going to add an artifact card to a deck that already has all kinds of different things. There's treasure rooms and hazards of different sorts. So you'll shuffle this in, although we won't worry about shuffling it in for now because it doesn't really matter at this point for what we're going to teach. So what happens at the very beginning, you're going to flip a card over.
Oh, a snake! Great!
Yeah, that's not the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Ha ha!
And what that means, if another snake is drawn, everyone busts. No one's going to get any treasure. But let's pretend that didn't happen because that's a little too early to have something horrible happen.
Yeah, that's a little too early.
So let's go here. Aha! The best card in the game, a 17. So you'll notice when this if this card comes up, pretty much everybody's going to be excited. In this case, you know, it's 3 players minimum. We have 2 tents here because each player gets a tent to hide their treasure. But in a 3-player game, let's just imagine we were playing, you would divide into this. So each person would get 5 pieces of jewels, I guess you'd say. So, and green counts for 1, black counts for 5, yellow counts for 10. So each person would get a black.
I think I'm just gonna take that. Yep, in my collection. Thank you.
So basically, everyone right now is starting off with $5 essentially, which is pretty exciting for especially to start. Now. But that leaves 2. What happens to those 2? They will stay here on this card for later. Now, at this point, everyone has to decide simultaneously. They'll have 2 cards. One means they want to go back to the camp. One means they want to continue going deeper. And you will reveal simultaneously. Most likely, in this case, everyone will reveal and say, oh, I want to go deeper. So once you simultaneously reveal, you will draw the next next card.
3!
In this case, only 3, so each person will get 1 gem in a 3-player game. Of course, if it was more, if you had 6 people, you would get nothing, and you'd leave all 3 right here. But this evenly divides into 3, so you'll take 3, everyone gets 1, nothing stays here. Then once again, you will reveal and say, hey, everyone say 1, 3, 2, 1, reveal. And then you'll show if you want to continue going deeper, or if you want to go home with what you have. Now, the reason why that's significant is as you keep going, getting more and more treasures, getting deeper and deeper into the temple, eventually you're going to have a hazard show up.
Oh my gosh, spiders, I need to get out of this video. This is too creepy. That's my fear.
Arachnophobia! So if this pops up, what that lets everyone know, if another spider card shows up, it's immediate failure for anyone who's still in the temple. So typically, this is when people will really start considering, you know what, I think I'm ready to go back. But here's the thing. If you leave, now let's just say this is what it looked like. Actually, it makes sense because in 3 players, all of these are evenly divisible. So there would be no treasure on any of these, and there would be 2 here. If someone leaves, they will take both of those treasures and put them with the rest, and they will put it in their tent for safekeeping where it will be hidden. So no one knows exactly how much treasure they have unless they have a great memory. But If more than one person, let's put our 2 treasures back, if 2 people were to leave at the same time, they would split the 2. One would get one, the other would get the other. But if all 3 people left at the same time, it's not evenly divisible. Nobody would get any of the treasures left behind. Now, if there was a whole bunch of treasure, let's just say over the course of the game, so for some reason there was, let's say it was, these weren't evenly divisible by 3, just give as an example, and there was all this treasure, if 2 people left, they would evenly split this 3 and 3. So it's not about each room, it's about the total treasures available. So you have to be careful when you leave. Now, as you continue to play, and like in this particular example, if you drew another spider, I doubt we'll get, there's a snake, so if a spider or a snake shows up, you bust. Oh, now there's fire, so if a spider, a snake, or fire shows up, you bust.
Oh no.
Oh, and now you have these little hobbit creatures, whatever they are, and you keep going. Oh, now here we go. 2 of the same kind. Bam! Anybody who is still here busts. They lose all the treasure that they found. It goes back in the pot. Anyone who had left gets to keep their treasure in their tent, which is what you really want. That's the goal, is to keep as much treasure in your tent as possible. Then you will discard one of these, whatever made you bust, you will discard one from the game permanently. There are 3 of each. So once you get rid of one of these, there's still 2 of these in the deck. But with only 2, you're not as afraid if you see this pop up on a future round. So now you'll flip this over, you'll trash all these, shuffle them back into the deck. And you'll add a new artifact card, which will be a second one at this point. So you'd have 2 artifacts in the deck. And you'd start a fresh round where everyone starts with, you draw a card, and you keep deciding, do we want to go or do we want to stay? And you'll continue doing this until, finally, you've gone through all 5 rounds, then you'll add up your treasure. Now, if an artifact shows up, how much are they worth?
10 and 5.
5 at first. The first 3 artifacts that get taken are worth 5. The last 2, if they're found and taken, are worth 10. So the artifacts start getting very valuable. But here's the tricky part about artifacts. If an artifact shows up, it'll just stay there for now, and you'll keep going, adding treasures. Everyone gets their treasure. Then you put whatever the remainder is left in the room. The artifact, if someone leaves, they get to take it. So if it's the first, second, or third, that's an automatic 5 treasure plus whatever else you get on your way out.
That's why I always leave. I always leave so soon whenever I see an artifact.
Yeah, Crazycraft likes his artifacts. So he's almost, if you're playing with Crazycraft, you should just let him get it, because if more than one person leaves at the same time, then nobody gets the artifact. It will stay there, which means you have to be careful. If you really want that artifact, you need to be pretty confident no one else is going to leave at the same time. Because, let's just say in a 3-player game, 2 people leave wanting to get that artifact. They don't get it. Then the last person who's still in there
will get it, probably.
They'll be able to get these treasures. For example, they might go, oh, they get 14. Now it's not split between anyone else. The other 2 people left. That means that last remaining player that's in the temple gets all 14 treasures. Then they could leave and claim that
get
too.
The artifact. That's just too much. Too much.
So that's where some of the craziness, the push your luck element of this game comes, because as you keep pushing and pushing and pushing for more treasure, hoping to be the last person to stay, or hoping to leave and get the artifact and no one else leaves with you, all those things come into play for trying to rack up your treasure. Now, as you know, as I've said earlier, you hide your stuff in these fancy little tents. So as the game proceeds into later rounds, you don't know, you will forget how much treasure the other players have, especially if there's a lot of players, 4, 5, 6. You'll really have no idea how much they have. And so you'll be thinking, man, how much do I have to push? How do I need to keep going and hope I can get more treasure? How far do I have to go to make myself feel comfortable that I'm in the lead? And it's tough, but that's where the excitement of the game comes, is trying to push your limits, but beyond what the other players are willing to do. So that pretty much covers all the details of the game. So let's go back up and we will show you, tell you what we think. Okay, so basically, as you can see, this is Push Your Luck, the game. It is literally about pushing your luck as far as you can go.
Well, if we push our luck too far, it's going to fall off and we won't have any more luck.
That's very true. You might push all your gems over the edge and then you'll have no gems. So it's all about testing your willingness to push your luck against all the other players. But here's what's interesting. It's depending on the number of players you have, it changes the game drastically. Because since you split up the treasure in each room between all the players, if you have 6 players...
You're going to have to split all that team!
Yeah, because that would mean if you had a room that had 5 gems, you wouldn't even split it.
Yeah.
All 5 would stay there. As opposed to in a 3-player game, everybody would get 1, and then there'd be 2 left on the trail. Or in the case of, let's say...
That way if you leave, you can get it.
Yeah. And if you had, let's say, 15, one of the cards has 15 treasures, if you had 3 players, everyone gets 5. But if you had 6 players, everyone would get 2. So, is that right? I think that's right, yeah.
I think so.
Anyway, if I'm wrong, I can't think right now. But the point is, it changes very much how much treasure you can get. But the problem is, once everyone leaves, if one person stays, that part stays the same. That person will get all the treasure, even if there's 6 players, if they're the last one staying. So, depending on the number of players, it's going to change how the money works, so the economy of the game. So, it is... The level of push your luck, it makes it so tense whenever you know someone else is going for the gold. They want to hang in there, and you have to decide, is it worth hanging in there to try to keep them from getting those treasures by themselves? So, that being said, let's go over the basics. Replay value. Do you think this game has a lot of replay value?
It does. It has a lot, in my opinion.
I think so too, because different groups of players make it interesting because you're seeing how different people play and think. But also, it's always fun to push your luck or to decide, hey, I'm going to play it safe this time and see if it pays off. It's because you never know what's going to happen, and that's always fun and an interesting thing.
That's what makes it so replayable. It's all about luck. If you're going for a luck game, this is the game to buy.
Yes. What's interesting is it's 100% luck in a sense, but there's that interesting element of strategy involved that makes it to where, so we'll go and move to that. Is there strategy in this game? Yes, there's strategy in this game. It's small, but it's important because you're having to decide when to pull out. You could say, you know what? I'm happy with the money I have. I'm going to be safe and leave early. Way early. You could leave super early if you wanted to and just take all the treasure that might have been left on the trail. But you could also say, you know what? I'm going to go until no one... You could just tell yourself at the beginning, I'm going to go as far as I can. I'm not going to stop until I'm the last one or we all bust. So that's a fascinating part about it is you can be a very stubborn, hard-nosed person who won't leave. I've played my cousin Zach. He did that. He wanted to stay, and just try to get every last gem that he could wring out of that game.
We were like, we gotta push this.
Yeah, because then I knew that I had to stay in there to keep him from getting too much. But Crazycraft over here, he would get out early and just go ahead and claim his treasure, but I was trying to keep Zach from getting too far ahead.
Yeah.
And it just created a very tense game, but that's where the fun comes. So let's keep going and let's talk about component quality. I mean, to me, component quality, for one, I think these tents are really cool.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah, they're fun. Fun little tents that, it's thematic. You're out there camping in the jungle before you go into the temple, so you keep your treasure in your tent. So that's thematically, it's very nice. These tents have this great linen finish to them, so great quality, and I really like those. The cards are pretty standard, and the gems are pretty standard, but they get the job done for a pretty simple game. So I'm happy with the component quality. I'm assuming that you agree. I'm
really happy. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, really good stuff. So what would we rate it? What do you think? What rating do you give Incan Gold?
Probably 9.5.
9.5. Wow, that's pretty impressive. I think I'm actually going to give it...
An 8. He's going to give it an 8.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. I just feel like you're going to give it an 8. I don't know.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it an 8. And this is actually almost... It's almost pointless to even give it a rating because anyone watching this will probably know if they like the idea of this game, because for people who like Push Your Luck, this is literally Push Your Luck, the game. you're going to like it. If you don't like Push Your Luck, then you're not going to like it. So no matter what I rate it, that's almost all you need to know. It's all about pushing your limits of how brave you are to keep going. Do you think that next card is the one that's going to make you bust? And the other players, how brave are they? Because if they leave early and you hang in there and you cash in a bunch of great treasure rooms all on your own, you're going to get a massive lead. But that forces those players later to have to stay in longer to keep you from running away with victory. So if that sounds fun, then you're going to like the game. If it doesn't sound fun, then you will not like it. So that is Incan Gold. Wonderful little game. Highly recommended. And for me, it's highly recommended, even though I gave it an 8. I mean, the only reason why I give it just an 8, I should qualify this. The reason why I only say 8 is because it's not the kind of game that I just go, man, I want to play this all the time. But it's a game that I highly want in my collection, and I don't think I would ever give it away or get rid of it. Because I've never played a game that hits this niche of Push Your Luck quite as well as this one does. And I find that to be fascinating. And in the right group of players, it is absolutely amazing. If you don't have a really great group who are interested and funny and, getting into it, then it won't be as fun. It benefits from a group that really enjoys and gets into what's happening. So that's why I only give it an 8, but it's still got to be in my collection. I can't see it any other way. So, all good?
All good.
Okay, well, we appreciate you watching the video, and leave some comments if you have any questions or concerns, and we'll get back with you, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
For some reason, my brain is not working, but anyway, it's got that...
I had to cut that part out.
Probably so.
That's a rule right there.
Yeah, maybe. What do you call this?
I think you would call it maybe.
It's this finish. It's not satin finish. It's linen finish. Oh, yeah. It's got that linen finish to the well. Okay. So anyway, but anyway, these